Kuro Games has announced the rewards for Wuthering Waves' second anniversary. And despite my expectations being pretty low, I was somehow disappointed, which is incredibly impressive. So let's talk about the situation. First, I want to mention that I think the version 3.3 update is looking to be really good. I'm really excited for the story, I'm really excited for the characters, and I'm really excited for the new area. However, the anniversary is meant to be something special for a gacha game. When I first got into gacha games, I didn't understand the significance of an anniversary. But then when Genshin's first anniversary absolutely flopped, I started to get a picture. But my standard for anniversaries has always been the anniversaries of the big gacha games, simply because those are the ones that I engage with the most. And those are always the ones that also give the least amount of rewards. The more niche a gacha game gets, the more rewards it tends to give, because it needs to make sure it keeps its small player base. A game like Honkai Impact or Seven Knights simply has to give more rewards than a game like Honkai Star Rail because they have less of a community. So in order to keep that community, they need to be generous. So the bigger gacha games tend to have bad anniversaries simply because they can afford to. However, unlike Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, who have steadily improved their anniversaries, Wuthering Waves seems to like its current status quo. In my prediction video that already had pretty bad assumptions, I thought we were going to get another mass rerun, approximately 30 pulls, a pulling and spending event, and 2 new skins. However, one prediction that I had that I left out of the video was I believe we were going to get a free 5-star. And somehow, Kuro didn't manage to live up to my expectations on almost every single point. We didn't get another mass rerun, only getting 6 banners this anniversary. We didn't get a spending event, only a pulling event, and I didn't even see transducers in the rewards. And we only got a single new skin. And when it comes to the free 5-star, while I didn't talk about it in my video, I believed we really should have gotten one. Because every single one of the big gacha games gives at least one 5-star away for free. Zenless gave away both a standard character and a standard W engine, Genshin is going to give us a standard banner character, and Star Rail is going to give us golden companion spirits for every single anniversary along with adding new characters to the shop. However, somehow Wuthering Waves decided to not give us a single character, which I think is absolutely absurd. It becomes even worse when you consider that we didn't get the mass reruns. Hey, Kuro Games, quick little tip. Standard banner characters aren't generating any sort of revenue for you. If you give us a Farina, there is not a single person who is going to be giving you less money. There's genuinely no point behind gatekeeping standard banner characters. And even then, I don't think a standard banner character is enough because this is the same game that gave us Shang Liao away for free on his debut for absolutely no reason other than they just felt like it. And newsflash, if you're not rerunning characters like Jinshi, Jian, and Changli, they're not generating any revenue for you either. If you refuse to rerun the 1.x characters, give them to us for free for the anniversary. Literally, no one is spending money on a banner that doesn't exist, so you're losing 0 revenue for giving us the character. If you're gonna get rid of the mass reruns during anniversary and you're never gonna rerun a 1.x character on a regular banner, just give them to us for the anniversary to make some people happy. For the last year, the only way to obtain a 1.x character has been through the starter banner or through the spending event on Imuth's release, and even then, that only included 3 of the characters. The only character who is an exception to this is Shorekeeper, who got a rerun in version 2.6. However, we are now getting our second Yuno rerun, who came out after that Shorekeeper rerun, and she still hasn't come back. So when is Shorekeeper gonna come back? Remember, we're talking about one of the best characters in the game here, who's being absolutely gatekept because Kuro refuses to give us anything. Obviously, Kuro sees Shorekeeper as some kind of exception to the other 1.x characters. But why not any of the other characters? If you gave players a free selection between Jian, Yinlin, Jinshi, Changli, Shangliao, Zhezhe, and Camellia, they would be happy. Because really, we're not asking for a free Hiyuki or a free Denia. But you're genuinely gatekeeping characters by giving us no way to obtain them. A free-to-play hasn't gotten the opportunity to get Camellia since version 2.2. Is Camellia a good character? No, but she's definitely someone's favorite, so why are you gatekeeping her like this? At this point, I think I've spent enough time ranting about the lack of a free character. But what about the other points? How about the reruns? The only banners this version are Hiyuki, Mornia, Yuno, Denia, Chisa, and Frolova. And I feel like giving us another mass rerun really would not have killed you, Kuro. You could have easily left out the characters from version 3.2. That's the exact reason you ran Shorekeeper in 2.2, so you didn't have to rerun her with the Anniversary, isn't it? And you don't even have to talk about the fact that rerunning a character like Imeth would be too recent, because they decided to give Chisa her second rerun. Getting a second rerun usually takes longer than a first, but Chisa decided to completely ignore this and be reran again. Now I understand why Chisa needed a banner, because there are two characters in this update that want to use her, so Chisa getting a rerun makes sense. But I genuinely don't think it could have killed you to rerun characters like Cardathea, Carlotta, or Brant. If anything, because of the double top-up resets, I feel like that would have generated you more revenue. I really like Brant. I've been considering getting his sequences, but you're not giving me the chance to get them, because you keep putting these characters in jail. Brant's last banner was in the second half of version 2.5, alongside Cantarella's first rerun. Cantarella reran again in version 2.8. However, we haven't seen Brant again, despite Brant and Cantarella releasing literally one banner apart. So why do you keep rerunning some characters while putting others in jail? Phoebe has gotten 4 total banners. And the Anniversary was a perfect excuse to put every single character we've been waiting for back again, and yet you didn't. Then we also just straight up did not get a spending event. While we did get a pulling event, it seems like the materials just were completely stripped. I only saw Radiant Tides and cosmetics within the rewards during the livestream, so no transducers, and I didn't even see modifiers. So genuinely, you've made the pulling event worse, and there's not even a spending event. There's also absolutely zero news of the weekly subscription coming back, which was one of the best deals you've ever made. At a certain point, it feels like you're trying to punish the exact people who you would want to reward. Don't you want people to spend money? How are you going to get us to spend money if you don't give us enough incentives? There's only 6 characters to roll for, there's no spending event, there's only a double top-up reset. The only people that are going to be pulling in this version are the people who want to get Hiyuki and Denia. The reruns you've put up are simply not enticing enough other than Mornia, because Mornia is an incredibly universal character and she was ran right before Imeth, so there might be people who are picking her back up. Spenders are lacking in reasons to spend, and free-to-plays are lacking in pulls to celebrate. Overall, almost the entire community is being disappointed here, because when it comes to free pulls, all you've given us is 30 character pulls, 10 weapon pulls, and 10 standard pulls. Standard pulls don't mean anything because no one wants to get standard gear anymore, which leaves us with 10 weapon pulls and 30 character pulls. Even if we're generous and we combine that into 40 pulls total, that's halfway to hard pity. You can't even get a 5-star with that. And because characters have a 50-50 on them, you could even say that it's less than a third of getting a character, and that's being generous. So overall, despite me going into this live stream with incredibly low expectations, I was somehow still disappointed. Kuro, don't forget where you stand. You used to give us 10 pulls just for reaching certain follower marks on social media. Obviously, I'm not expecting that kind of generosity anymore, but for your anniversary, you've genuinely disappointed the entire player base. An event that's meant to be a celebration of the players feels like a slap in the face. And just because you've grown too big to fail, don't become arrogant. Absolutely no one wants to see that happen. But that'll be all from me. Peace.